Paltrocast. The first thing I'm going to say is, hi, how are you? And how is your day going aside from doing press today? Because let's face it, some people love doing press more than others.
Hi, I'm good. My day is great. And I have like four back to back today. So I'm just like sitting here, I'm snacking in between. I opened the door a little bit because my cat was like, "Can I please come in? You've been in the office all day."
Yeah, when you do a lot of junkets like I do, usually the talent has one project to talk of. And in your case, not only are there multiple projects, sometimes you're on screen, sometimes you produced it and wrote it, tiny chance you directed it. But
Not really yet. That's the final
IMDb
frontier.
says otherwise. IMDb
Some
talks about your
shorts, some shorts.
sure. So what is the current project that we should be touting? It's the Valentine's Day themed one.
Um, Yeah, I mean, I guess we can talk about Baked with a Kiss. Last weekend, that's coming out on Up TV. I don't know if it's on Valentine's Day anymore. I think they might have moved it, but
Oh,
it is coming out on Up TV in February. And then last weekend on Up TV came out, Love on Retreat came out. Those I both just acted in.
hmm.
And then I'm working on one that I can't talk about. That is my most exciting project for a major streamer that I'm writing it. And that will be out this summer.
The Hulu Christmas one that you recently had, that was
Yeah.
a really big deal project. Now, did you know outright that you wanted to have multiple jobs tied to that one? I asked them because sometimes somebody writes a screenplay and they go, "You do it."
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
your case, you took on multiple jobs.
Yeah, so it's a Christmas frequency, and it was my first project with Hulu, which was a dream come true.
Mhm.
When I wrote the script, it was a couple of years ago, and it went through development with multiple different people, multiple different networks. We had actors attached, we had directors attached, and nothing really got off the ground. And then Vanessa Shapiro at Nicely Entertainment read the script, and she was like, "I want to make this." I said, "Great. I think I want to star in it." And she was like, "Okay, great." And I had done a couple movies for her. Baked with a Kiss on Up TV is hers. And then we did one called A Perfect Christmas Pairing that's Amazon Freebie, as just an actress. And so she knew me as an actress. And so she trusted me enough to do it. And then when it came to producing, that was my second one that I produced. And I said, can this be one that because I'm still learning. Like I'm not in charge of anything, really. I'm just
Beg to differ.
I'm just learning how to do it from the people who have done it before me, so I can eventually do it on my own.
When you say you're not in charge, if your name is going on it and you have the right to do press on behalf of it, you, you kind of matter.
Right, but I had people above me who were
Sure.
making the big scary decisions that I'm like, I don't even know what this means.
Well, nowadays, I think it's very normal to find that the actor also wrote it and or directed and or produced.
Yes.
I think we, the public, started noticing that maybe the Ben Stiller movies or the Judd Apatow movies.
Oh,
But,
Judd is the best.
but 40 years ago, that wasn't the norm at
Yeah.
all. So in your case, was it the plan all along to be
No.
able to write your own content?
No. I have been an actor my entire life. Did my first professional job when I was 12. Like this is just something that has always been very important to me. And I hit a little bit of a slump around 2018. And I decided, well, my type is very common. That my look is all over the place. There's a lot of us in LA. So I said, well, what could I do that would set me apart? And that was writing. And I had always been interested in writing, but I never thought about it as something that could be produced, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
my mind switched in 2018 of just trying to figure out how to do it. And I had a writing partner at the time, and we learned how to write a pilot, a show Bible. We learned how to pitch. We learned how to do a deck. And I'm really thankful that I had her at that time because I don't know if I would have gone through all of the steps that you need to
Hmm.
in order to be a legitimate screenwriter because there is so much to learn. And I didn't go to school for it. My degree is in public relations. Like it's not anywhere in the entertainment industry.
Disagree.
So
Disagree. The PR people know more how to do every job than anybody.
you're right. That is true. Well, you have to be a Jill of all trades if you work in PR.
So if I could rudely interrupt you, the
Yeah.
PR people can negotiate the deals. They know the rights. They know how to talk the talent off the ledge. It's a combination psychiatrist, manager, agent, yet you're not getting any of the commissions.
Right. Yeah. I feel like my lawyer is that for me. And
Sure.
she does get commissions.
Got it. So I took you way off course there, but you've also notably found a lot of success in the Christmas space. And
Yes.
that's a genre that I think only the last 5 years, I could be wrong on the number of years, but only the last 5 or so years that people go, I want to watch Christmas movies. And I say
Yeah.
that because if the father-in-law comes over, he wants to watch the Scrooge 38, the Scrooge 51, It's a
Hmm.
Wonderful Life, A Christmas Story, but there haven't been these seminal Christmas movies until recent years.
Yeah.
When did you start to notice that it wasn't a curse to be working on Christmas movies? Like it wasn't looked down upon?
Yeah. I really tried not to work in Christmas movies. My original goal, and still my big goal is I want to write TV comedy. I want to do half-hour single cam sitcoms is what I really want to do.
Mhm.
But when it came to what could I sell, I was realizing that 184 of these or 200, whatever of these are made for the different networks every year. So I figured, well, the barrier to entry is lower here because they make so many. So if I can just learn how to be that, and my middle name is Noelle, and
Mhm.
I'm born around Christmas. So I was like, you know what? Let me just dive right into this Christmas queen. Just
That's genius that you realize the odds game of that whole thing. Now, has that helped you for the
oh
comedy
yeah.
world, or is that do you have to pay your dues all over again?
Oh, to getting into TV. It's a totally different world. I'm writing novels now, so I'm on my
Mhm.
third book, and
I didn't know that.
that because I haven't really talked about it yet because nothing's out, but that is so different too, where I'm learning that things are really in their lane. Where if you're working in like the rom-com
Right.
space, it doesn't matter if you're working for Netflix or Hulu or Paramount Plus or Hallmark, Great American Family or Up TV. They're all kind of the same in the way that like they have the 9 act structure, they have the love interest with the twist and whatever. So like you can kind of tailor what you're writing for those different networks and your resume plays in the field. But when it comes to TV, I've never been a staff writer. I've never sold a pilot. I've had a show optioned, but it hasn't been made yet. So I haven't ventured into that. So when people look at my resume, they're like, oh, well, actually, we would love to see if you'd maybe want to write this movie. So I just like keep doing the film world. Eventually, I hope to pop over to TV. That's the goal.
You just mentioned one of the buzzwords, a 9 act story or a 9 act project. Are you able to enjoy movies knowing that
No.
99% of them?
No, and I'll ruin them for my husband too. I'll be like, okay, so that's the end of act one. And he's like, stop talking.
But sitcoms a 9 act thing? Because I
No,
know you have
no,
your
they're
A
three acts.
story, B story, but how
Yeah,
many acts?
they're 3 acts. The 30-minute structure is more like a traditional 3 act structure.
So are you able to enjoy sitcoms or those are ruined too?
I like sitcoms because I think people who write sitcoms are way smarter than me because they're just like Schitt's Creek specifically, or like
Yeah.
Arrested Development or The Office. Like they're just so funny and they're humming on so many different levels that when I'm writing a movie, it's usually plot driven with a relationship base. And so like that's a very not simple, but like I can stick different things into that formula. Whereas if you're doing 6 seasons of Schitt's Creek, you're worried about Moira and Alexis and David, and like you're popping in all the different things. So no, I don't. The formula for comedy is just I love
Yeah.
it.
So on to you here because now I'm learning about the books. I didn't know about that. On top of all the different projects we've talked about, where sometimes actor,
Yeah.
writer, producer, aspiring director. We'll compromise at that. I say that
Yes.
you're a director because IMDb says so. But what do you do to decompress? Because if you're creative all the time,
Yeah.
you go nuts. But at the same time, looking at your credits, you're kind of on that Tyler Perry path of too many credits and we can't keep track of you. So what do you do?
I love podcasts, all different kinds of podcasts. I love a true crime. I love a self-help. I love a daily news like Michael Barbaro. Like I love all of it. So I like to listen to a podcast while I'm doing something like going for a walk or dusting. If something isn't working, like I'm working on a project right now, that's a book and it's an adaptation of a script and it's very it's just not fun. at the moment. And so I'm taking a lot of breaks. And this morning I went and cleaned behind my toaster, which I hadn't done in a couple months. And then I came back down and was like, oh, okay, I can write a couple words. And so I think knowing when you need a creative pause, and maybe that's a day, like some days on my day planner, I like purposefully schedule it out. I write exactly what I'm going to do. So if I'm writing a book, I write the number of words I'm going to write each day. So if it's 3,000 to 5,000, I will put a little box for each 1,000 and I will check it off as I go. And if I don't finish it, I don't usually go to bed until I can check off everything on my day planner as a way, but I don't set unrealistic goals anymore. I used to be like 26 pages of this script and 5,000 words of this book, and I'm going to the gym for 2 hours. That doesn't work. So if I'm working on a book like right now, the only thing I'm doing is 3,000 words of that book for 5 days a week to get that all done. And then I give Saturday and Sunday for additional things if I need to, like the streamer movie that I'm working on. If I have notes on that, that's what I do in between.
So are you I couldn't figure out from that answer if you're nocturnal as a writer.
I am not. No. I go to bed at like 9:30.
Oh, okay. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you treat the writing like a day job, like office hours.
Yes. And I am set up at my desk and I clock in and I take a lunch break and I usually take an afternoon walk where I call my dad. But I have like, I do treat it as an office job. And that's how I think I was able to be successful pretty quickly in my career. Was before I had sold my first script in 2018, when I was learning how to do this, I was working as a cater waiter at night at a wedding venue. And I was
so real life party down.
Literally party down. Like, wow. That show is so accurate. So
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but fascinating.
Yeah, and I want to do a show about the wedding venue that I worked at, because not just about cater waiters, but like that wedding venue, because it was just such a funny group of people and it was such a funny, like everything we experienced there. Anyway, so I would usually work there at night. During the day, I would have auditions or would be shooting something. But if I didn't, I would wake up at 8:30, clock in at 9 o'clock. And I would work until 3 or 4 whenever I had to go to my cater waiter job. And I did that every single day. And what that allowed me to do was 1, build up the muscle, 2, build up the routine, and 3, give me a bank of content. So when I went to go pitch to producers, I didn't just have 1 or 2 scripts. I had like 20.
Wow. Well, please tell me if you do that show that it'll be called Cater Waiter. Cater Waiters, because it's such a catchy title.
Yeah.
Well, either way, the last question, a huge softball to you. We'll do a softball into a softball here.
Okay.
What's the last concert that you went to?
Oh my gosh, I haven't been to a concert, and I'm very sad about this. I didn't go see Taylor Swift, and I'm a big Swiftie, and I didn't go because I don't like crowds and I don't like being out late. That's why I didn't go. But I saw it at the movie theater with my friend Sam. So does that count?
It counts. You explained before that you go to bed at 9 or 9:30.
I'm a child.
Are you a child? I mean, the number of projects that you're juggling at the same time, let's face it, you're doing something right.
I need the brain rest.
So the double softball closing here is, when it's time to know what we're allowed to know that you're working on, what's the best way to find it out? Is it Instagram? Is it the Hollywood Reporter embargo being lifted? What's the way?
This one I will definitely post about on Instagram because it's my biggest job I've ever had. I don't know about press because, like I said, I'm just the writer on it. This production company always does press, so it will definitely be out in the trades. I will have no control over it, but I will share it on my social media.
Well, make sure they have the right bio for you for the trades.
Right. Or the right name, that it's spelled right.
Right name, right order of credits. Like put the Christmas movies 3rd or 4th.
Right.
In the parentheses.
Yes.
Well, it's fascinating to hear everything you're up to. Looking forward to the future projects, and just keep up that great work. Very inspiring what you do and how you do it.
Thank you. And thank you for taking the time to chat with me.
Paltrocast.